Lesson 6. Identifying Trends. Remember, the market always moves in trends. Now, the first step of identifying a trend is to kind of understand the basics that there are three directions. Yes, there are three directions in a trend. There is the basic upward direction, which we seem to all be drawn to. There is the downward direction, which we seem to all be adverse to. And then there is something called a directionless or equilibrium, consolidation, or range bound, where there is really no clear direction. Well, what is an uptrend? Well, an uptrend is defined as higher highs, higher lows. We can see here that an uptrend has higher peaks and higher troughs. So we have higher highs and higher lows. On a downtrend, start here and we have lower lows and lower highs. We're working our way downwards. And during a sideways trend or a consolidation, we have horizontal peaks and troughs as we kind of bounce around in this general area. So let's take a moment to identify then a trend. Now this is the S&P 500 on the daily. So each one of these candles represents one entire day of data. This spans all the way back from June 2020 till today in June 2022. So it is a 2-year chart. So let's draw a trend line from the bottom of June, draw it all the way up by clicking here, adding a trend line. Let's take the bottom of June, and let's say around here when the trend kind of started to change. Draw it all the way here. And the goal in making any kind of trend line is trying to make sure that you encapsulate all the data. Some people will say that you need to hit at least 3 points to make it a valid trend, while others say you just need 2 points. That is completely up to the chartist. So we have an upward trend in the S&P 500. That is a long-term trend, a 2-year trend. But if you can see, we're currently doing some work here on the top, and we may actually be in a downtrend. And as you can see, the downtrend is continuing. And if I had to say, if we were making assumptions based on this trend line that we drew, we have broken the trend line and are headed for a downtrend. Now let's go ahead and look at some historical charts and see if we can glean a little bit of clarity in understanding how understanding trends can help us in making decisions on entries. So this here is a currency pair between the US dollar and the Swiss franc. We have the long-term trend displayed with a thick bar and the medium-term trend in a smaller shade. We also can see that there are some short-term trends here as well. Now, as you can see, if you identify a long-term trend, sometimes medium-term trends tend to follow suit with those long-term trends until there is a significant amount of work done to reverse the trend. So you can see it took significant amount of work and time to change the long-term trend, but eventually it changed. So as a trader, what you want to do is to find long-term trends, look for medium-term trends as entry points to follow the long-term trend. And this can help us identify entry and exit points when looking at trends. That is just one step in identifying charts. In the next lesson, we'll go over support and resistance and how you can use support and resistance to identify both entry and exit points, and of course, figuring out when you should exit the trade if it's not profitable.